Hi everybody, my name is Mr. Francy and welcome back to Mr. Francy Reads. Yes, if you are over on my Discord, I have been teasing this for the past 24 hours and I'm so glad that I now get to make this announcement. And that announcement is my triumphant return to BookTube. Yes, I have officially returned. Now, I did an entire video on this that honestly went on for way too long. But yeah, I am officially back. Things have been very interesting for me since I left, and I have been regretting it for the longest time. I miss being on BookTube. I want to be on BookTube, so I am going to be back on BookTube. The only difference is that I am not going to be putting any pressure on myself whatsoever. I would very much love to do a TBR and a monthly wrap for every single month, because you all who have followed me for a while know how important that is to me. But anything else, really, at the end of the day, I'm just going to take it as it comes. So, now that I've said that, I can also say to you, welcome back to Mr. Francy Reads, because in my last video, I was talking about how, the name had changed. If I left it in, I was talking about how it said The Sparkle Cafe. It's now Mr. Francy Reads once again, because this is now once again a BookTube channel. So, we are here to discuss my TBR for the month of October, and I'm excited to get to it. So, let us begin. So, I had to make a incredibly last minute change to my TBR for the month of October, but I think that this is the best thing that I can do. I'll explain more about that towards the end of the video, because I am referring to the last book that I plan to read. But the first book that I plan to read in the month of October is this book, 15 Minutes of Flame by Kristen Brecker. This is book number 3 in the Nantucket Candle Maker, Maker Mystery Series, which makes it the final book in that series, and that is a big part of the reason why I'm reading it. I loved book number 1. I gave it 4 stars. It was very mystery heavy, which is not like me usually, but the mystery was so compelling that I had to give it 4 stars. Book number 2 just didn't work as well for me, so I gave it 3 stars. I ummed and ahed as to whether or not I was going to complete the series, but with just one book left, I might as well complete the series and scratch it off my SAS list as being done. Unlike that book, the next book I plan to read in the month of October has me incredibly excited, because it has been a very long time between reads. To give you an even better idea, I read book number 1 in this series in January of this year, and I read book number 2 in February. I have not picked up another book in this series since, but I am now ready to do so. So the next book I plan to read in October of 2022 is this book, which is A Perilous Cake Pop by Fiona Grace. This is book number 3 in the Beachfront Bakery series, and I cannot wait to jump into this book. Now, let me just give you a very quick backstory as to why it's taken me so long. Book number 2 is actually not available as a physical book, and while I don't have OCD, I kind of do have OCD with reading and with my books and series, and I like to have every book in the series. I like to have them all match, and so when I found out that book number 2 is not available as a physical book, and yet book 1 and all the others are, it kind of threw me off. But I love this series so much that I can't wait to dive right back in. So I purchased book number 3, and it'll be the second book that I read. This is such an incredibly exciting series. We follow a woman by the name of Alison Sweet, who runs her own bakery on a boardwalk or beachfront or whatever you want to call it. Yeah, incredibly quirky characters there as well. And I just really enjoyed myself with the first 2 books. So it's taken a number of months to get back here, 8 to be precise, but I'm incredibly excited to jump right back in. But if you thought I was excited to get into the 3rd book in the Beachfront Bakery series, then hold your hats, because I am about to show you the next book that I plan to read in the month of October, and oh, this is going to be a tough one in so many ways. I am so incredibly excited to get to this book, but at the same time, I am also kind of dreading getting to this book. Do you know the book I'm referring to? Comment below and let me know if you are right with your guess. Is this book, Peanut Butter Panic by Amanda Flower. This is book number 7, I think, in the Amish Candy Shop series. And while I am absolutely incredibly excited to get to this book, there is another part of me that doesn't want to, because this is the most recent book to come out in this series. I've had so much fun going from not knowing about the series to starting it this year and now basically almost being caught up, but I'm not looking forward to that time of waiting between finishing book 7 and waiting for book number 8. The good news is Amanda Flower has announced her 8th book, and I don't remember what it's called, but I think it's like Blueberry Blunder or something, but it's something about blueberries, which has me excited. What doesn't have me excited about this book is that I don't like peanut butter. I feel like I'm the cheese that stands alone because a lot of people love peanut butter. I'm just not one of them, but I do love Amanda Flower's Candy Shop series, so I'm very, very excited to get this one. And of course, there's the cover with Jethro the pig. If you have not read this series before, it follows an Englisher by the name of Bailey King, who ends up moving to Amish country to help her grandmother and grandfather run their candy store. And while she's there, some things go down. She ends up staying in Amish country to assist them. There are a lot of culinary aspects to the series, which I really do enjoy. And I've really just come to enjoy all of the characters. And I apologize about the lighting, but it can't be fixed. So there you go. That's the next book I plan to read. The next book that I plan to read in the month of October is this book, which is Bread and Bewitching. This is book number 6 in the Spellford Code Mystery series by Samantha Silver. I have absolutely grown to love this series ever since I really first began it last year. It was recommended to me by one of my good friends, Jessica, from Lady Lovestead Reads, and I've just, as I say, fallen in love with the series so much to the point that I think I've taken over where she's up to. I think I'm now ahead of her. But it's a lot of fun. So this is a paranormal cozy series where we follow a woman by the name of Robin, who ends up moving to another suburb because her birth mother, Robin, was put out for adoption at birth, but her birth mother has passed away, and so her aunt reaches out to her and says, look, I know you didn't really know her, but she's passed away and left you her bakery, so we'd love for you to come down and check out the area and see if you'd like to either sell it or run it. And Robin decides she does want to run the bakery, but there is more to Robin than meets the eye. She is a kitchen witch, and we learn a lot more about Robin and her magic, and well, there are some things going down with her father as well that makes the tale incredibly interesting. If you are a fan of reading a series where you have a character that is magical but doesn't know they are, and then they learn more about their magical abilities and stuff like that from the first book, then you will love this series. The next book that I plan to read will be the latest book to come out in that particular series, which is this book, Proof is in the Potion. So this is book number 7, which is the latest book, as I say, in the series. I believe there is another one that is going to come out next year, but this book did come out this year. So once I read this book, I will be completely up to date with the series. And I kind of like with Peanut Butter Panic, I'm excited to get to this book, but at the same time, I'm not excited because it will mean that I'm up to date and need to wait for the next one. But I really enjoy this series. And if you are someone who loves fantasy books and you have considered whether or not to try a cozy mystery series, I highly recommend this one because it does have enough fantasy to keep anyone who's new to cozy mysteries entertained. The next book that I plan to read in the month of October is this book, which is A Deadly Danish. This is book number 4 in the Beachfront Bakery series, so I kind of decided to split things up, read book 3 a little earlier on the month, and then book 4 a little later on the month. I would love to close this series off, or at least get up to date with this series by the end of the year, and this is going to help me to do that. I've already explained the premise of the series, so we will move on. Now I'm going to talk to you about the final book that I plan to read in the month of October, because this is going to take a little more time because this was part of a last minute change for me. So originally I was going to read book number 2 in the Amish Matchmaker series by Amanda Flower, which is called Courting Can Be Killer. I don't have that book on me just yet. It would have come on time. It is coming. It will be delivered to me somewhere in the second week of October. However, I've been doing research for a particular book in a series that I'm also reading. I'm reading many series this year, thanks to the SAS List, Series About Series list. Thank you, Elizabeth, from Lizzie Faye Loves Books. If you want to know more about SAS lists, check out Elizabeth from Lizzie Faye Loves Books. Okay, I've been having some issues with lighting throughout this entire video. I do apologize. I don't know what's going on, so I'm sorry about that, but let's continue on. So yeah, there is another series that I'm reading, and I was struggling to find the latest book that I was up to purchase. And what's interesting is that I've read the first 5 books in this series. Book 6 I couldn't find anywhere, and yet book 7 and 8, which is the last 2 in the series, are readily available. So I was in a bit of a interesting situation, especially with my, very tiny amount of OCD that I have with, series and, keeping them all the same, and didn't know what to do. And then finally, I did come across book number 6. It was available at my library. So I basically flew to the library, grabbed the book, brought it home, changed my entire, well, not entire, but the last book on my TBR to this one so that I can still read it. And that is this book, which is The Maze of the Beast by Emily Rodda. This is book number 6 in the Del Toro Quest series, and this is a middle grade fantasy series that I've been reading, and I absolutely love it. So the reason why I've been struggling to find a copy of this particular book is because this edition is the same edition as the other books that I've been reading. It is the 10th anniversary edition, and it was released in 2010, and they have since gone out of publication. So it is incredibly hard to track down. There is one option on Amazon that I found that is $131, and I'm not spending $131 for one book that is a novella. For those of you who don't know, a novella is a book that is 100 pages or less. It's just not going to happen. So yeah, I'm going to make do this month and see where things go after that. But for those of you who don't know, the basic premise of this book is that we are following a prince by the name of Leif, who during one of his coronations, he is presented with a belt known as the Belt of Del Toro. This belt was forged by magical beings in the kingdom who placed 7 magical gems into the belt itself that represent different powers. But when Leif is handed the belt during the ceremony, while the strap is there, all of the gems are missing. So we spend the remainder of the books trying to locate each gem. So we have one book per gem that we're trying to locate. And it is a whole lot of fun. If it wasn't, I wouldn't continue reading the series. But Emily Rodda just finds a way to make every journey to each gem just feel so exciting. So I love this series so much. And now for everyone's favorite game that we like to call Up, 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 Up. These are the books that I plan to read in the month of October 2022. What books do you plan to read in the month of October 2022? Let me know in the comments section below. But in the meantime, that is where I am going to leave it. Please do be kind and love one another and spread your sparkling energy all throughout the world. And until next time, happy reading. Bye everyone.